加菜喽，庆祝喽！加菜庆祝，庆祝川普当选。蓝色是民主党，对，红色是共和党，
但是粉红色是摇摆。
哦，粉红色是摇摆州 KSTXGA， 这个都是属于摇摆州。川普63%，贺锦丽45%。
The biggest prize out of them all. The easiest path to victory for both Trump and Harris is through
send them out to do that kind of community outreach to talk to people and let them know what's going on, what the rules were, so that people could continue to express their opinions about who they wanted to vote for, and people who wanted to vote were able to do so safely and without any disturbance to their.
All right, so you've been listening there to Philadelphia officials led by DA Larry Krasner updating us on some of these incidents that took place in and around Philadelphia.
川普17%，贺锦丽36%，印第安纳州底下，川普领先60几%比20几%。
To get to right now, including and especially at the presidential level here, let's just start because so many race calls.
川普输的有的输小输啊，有的州输很多。
他只是一定要，
你看，川普目前57%，然后42%，他总票数啦，现在已经500多万了。56比43%，川普目前领先了。川普是共和党，他是红色；贺锦丽是民主党，以蓝色。R 是共和党 ，B 是民主党。目前川普稍稍领先，可是还没有完全票开完。印第安纳州川普63%，贺锦丽28%。今天熬夜了哈。
The New York Post, Cameron, our Cameron, he joins me. Cameron, good to see you here. So give us a sense. Yes, we've got different states. Surprised, but we have gotten some of these results in from some of these battleground states. There's a lot of dichotomies.
今晚准备的香槟。
The vote share with Trump and the vote share with Harris. Rural versus urban and suburban pockets. Also,
Philadelphia would have a very smooth. Election day, and that very smooth election day would look like other ones that we've had, where there were the usual significant number of insignificant complaints. That is essentially what occurred here, with a couple of small exceptions. One of those exceptions does have to do with bomb threats, and the other exception has to do with an individual who's been detained, and we'll get into that. But the essence of it is this.
印第安纳州川普领先。印第安纳州川普领先，对，对。然后贺锦丽赢纽约。
纽约真的去赢纽约啊？
对。
Responding to everything that came up. It wasn't that much, but they were great about responding to it. And that I think has had a lot to do.
可是有的川普81%，贺锦丽才18%。
And then we'll do a larger summary. But the two exceptions are that there were some bomb threats in Philadelphia. If you've been monitoring what the Federal Bureau of Investigation has said publicly, they have recently stated publicly that this did happen in other locations as well. They stated publicly that There was some attribution
for Rick Scott already. That's one that the Democrats are going to need to pick up if they want a fighting chance. Texas is the other one. Colin Allred will need to pull off an upset against Ted Cruz. There's also this kind of surprising race in Nebraska. An independent candidate has been giving a surprising challenge to the Republican that's in that seat there. Nonetheless, I mean, if we're looking at the map, there are so many Democrats that are facing very close races. We're talking Bob Casey in Pennsylvania, as he alluded to. John Tester, who is another three-term Democratic incumbent who has built a strong Democratic coalition within his red state. He's facing his first real challenge against Tim Sheehy. One could argue that the past three Senate cycles have been in the Democrats' favor. The first one came in an unpopular year for Republicans because of the war, and then the second time Tester was elected, that was a blue wave because of Obama. The third time Tester in Montana was elected, it was that midterm year after Trump was elected. So we saw another blue wave. Montana, Ohio, a lot of parallels to draw there. Both of those three-term Democratic incumbents facing perhaps their toughest uphill battle. Polls, by the way, say that this seat is more likely to flip than Ohio.
Apologize there. Austin, we are in a new hour at 6 o'clock here Mountain Time. It's 8 o'clock there on the East Coast. That means polls have now closed or about to close in states like Pennsylvania.
Some results in Pennsylvania and Texas.
That's right.
These are populating in real time. And you know what? Let's hover over these and see what we can from these. So this is the Texas Senate race. Colin Allred and Ted Cruz. This is something that a lot of people have been fascinated by. Very early results. Only 8% of the votes counted so far, but so far we do see Colin Allred with a 13 roughly point lead over Ted Cruz. Only 8% of the votes in. You can't really draw anything from that few of the votes being tabulated. I think we're hearing a little bit more out of Florida as well. I think I saw this go darker red. It used to be lightly red, and now it looks like this has a check mark on it.
But that's our goal, but you know, there are a lot of votes to deal with once the polls close. With this election, new to our laws, we cannot tabulate and upload the early voting results at the close of polls like we've been able to do in the past. So those will not be released until after the polls close. The tabulators will be closed down and the results will be uploaded with the election night results as they come in. So at 7:30 p.m. we will release the absentee by mail results, and then we will just begin to gather the results from the election day polling sites. And you know, be mindful that we do not modem results in North Carolina. So if you just factor in that if the polls are able to close at 7:30 p.m.